Timeout Show is brought to you each and every week by the Jack Smith Agency, Hillsdale Travel Center, Coach B's Driving School, and Randy's Auto Body. Next week, the show is live, featuring Brad Felix and the Hillsdale Hornet basketball team at the Broad Street Downtown Market. Bring your friends. Have dinner with the Hornets at the Broad Street Market next week. We're going to have a nice meal, talk a little Hornet basketball with Coach Felix and the players. Should be a lot of fun. Coach John Tharp's one of my favorite folks. He's entering his 7th season as the head coach of the Hillsdale College men's basketball team, and has just continued to build this into a upper echelon GLIAC program. Coach has brought Pistol and Luke Lacer tonight. How you guys doing?
We're good. Yeah.
Busy week. I mean, the mileage this week is high.
Yeah, it was quite an adventure, and you know what? It was a great experience, and obviously we were. The end result of that IU game wasn't the most pleasant thing in the world, but overall the experience was a great experience, going from Toledo on Sunday to Bloomington on Monday, and really being at one of the meccas of college basketball. It was a pretty neat experience. Gosh,
your kids have had so many interesting experiences already, and the season hasn't even started yet. Valparaiso, and then you go and you really challenge Toledo, have a great chance to win that game. And then to play at Assembly Hall, which is one of the real, legendary venues of all of basketball. I mean, these kids, you lost to Indiana. I mean, that's probably to be expected for most people, not you guys. But bottom line is you lose to Indiana, but your kids got to play the Hoosiers in Assembly Hall.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, it was, we went, when we went to walk through on Monday, we got in there and they got their phones out and taking their pictures, and I wanted them to take just a mental picture of that, and I hope that will be something that they will have forever. You just think about the few people that have played there in the grand scheme of things, and to see the national championship banners, and we went to see their practice facility, and kind of to really see how the other half lives at that level. It's incredible.
Did you chuck a chair across the floor at Assembly Hall?
Go ahead, Pistol Pete.
I tried, but they bolted them down, so they wouldn't let me get to one. So.
All the chairs are bolted down, huh? That's probably pretty smart. Charger basketball getting ready to start. Our first broadcast game is coming up a week from tonight when we have Charger basketball at home here, and looking forward to that. I'm looking up at the schedule on the fly, and you guys are playing Lords?
Yes.
Not familiar with Lords.
NAI school out of Toledo. They've been in the NAI national tournament like the last 3 years. We don't know much about them, but we kind of a late schedule, so we had to add one more game.
But it's an actual game that counts on your record. It's
live.
A broadcast game 1 week from tonight. You guys will be playing in a different direction. We'll talk more about the arena coming up. Since World War II, no Charger basketball team has lost fewer games in 2 years than what you guys have done in the last couple of years. You've put together truly one of the great back-to-back seasons that the Chargers have ever had. You look at the big picture, and I think people want to ask the question, of all teams that should struggle at Hillsdale College, it should be this basketball team. All of the college transfers that go into these GLIAC schools, all of the incredibly difficult academic pressures at Hillsdale College, the fact that you've got an enrollment of under 1,500 facing teams that have enrollments of 10, 15, 20,000 students. There's no way that you should be able to win at basketball at Hillsdale College, and yet here you are winning, and really, really winning at the GLIAC level at Hillsdale College. Big picture question to kind of kick off with, how are you doing it?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of factors, and I think it starts with the kids that we have in our program. I think they are really just incredible kids. They have a great passion for competing. They have a great passion for winning, and they have high standards for themselves. And I think that's the reason why they pick a school like us, is because of that. They want to be challenged, and they are. And so I think it starts with them. And then I think we've been blessed with a great group of assistant coaches that have worked really, really hard over the last 6 years to bring in great kids and recruiting. We've worked really hard with recruiting, and so been blessed with a great group of assistant coaches that have bought in and have worked incredibly hard. The amount of hours that that we put in. Very few people kind of understand that, and the pressure that we have on us is because of we want to be successful.
Right.
We don't want to let our kids down. We don't want to let the college down, and I think that's what drives us on a day-to-day basis. And we play a style of basketball that's not played as much anymore, and I think our style of play has allowed us to win some games. We're not obviously the most athletic team or program in the GLIAC, but we play together. We play as a team. And I think our guys are passionate for each other and passionate for the program and passionate for the school. And so when you get good people together and they have a mission to working hard, good things are going to happen. And we've been blessed with that over the last 6 years, 7 years.
Fun basketball to watch, a competitive team night in and night out, a team that does it the right way. Luke Lacer played a couple of years at Saginaw Valley, came to Hillsdale College. And Luke, I feel like in some ways Coach Tharp is an enigma because he seems he's kind of this short, jolly guy, and he seems really friendly and kind of happy-go-lucky. And then you watch him during the games, and it's just the competitive drive just kind of comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah, fiercely competitive, and our players reflect what Coach Tharp is all about. His toughness, his pride in the program, and guys really try to model themselves after that. And so playing here and now coaching here, it's been a fun experience for me to see it from both sides. And I know as a player, Coach Tharp was a guy who instilled a lot of confidence in you, and so you could play freely. And he was incredibly competitive and held everybody to an incredibly high standard. And so that carried on to the rest of our teammates. And so as a player, we held each other to a high standard, and we had a lot of confidence in ourselves and in each other, and that's a direct reflection from Coach Tharp.
Follow-up question for you, Luke, because I think this has got to be the toughest balance in coaching. To be tough, to be demanding, to set that incredibly high standard, and also be a guy that your players can talk to, that a guy that your players can trust and feel comfortable with at times. How does Coach Tharp strike that balance with his players?
I think the biggest thing is that the first thing he always asks us is how we're doing how we're doing off the court.
Right.
And I think that, and I hope that our players understand that we care about them more than just as basketball players. And I think that allows us to develop a closeness with them to where we can push them a little bit harder on the court, and we can push them in the classroom because they know that we think that there are more, just as important things off the court as on the court.
Pistol back again, and Dan Evans was such a key part of this program for so many years. I had a chance to talk to him when we did football down at Ohio Dominican, and he's coming after you guys, by the way. I mean, this is going to be a business trip when you guys take on Dan Evans in the Ohio Dominican squad, but he was such a great guy. But it points to the stability of the program, how you guys stuck together all this time, bringing Luke in a couple of years ago. How important is that to have that continuity year in and year out?
I think it's really important. I've been with Coach Tharp now. This is my 12th, going into my 12th season that I've been with him, 5 at Lawrence, and this is 7th year here. And, Luke's come in and done a tremendous job, and then Ryan Schwanware has come in as well. And it just, both of those played for Coach Tharp. They know what is expected. There's a little bit of adjustment from the player to the coaching part of it, but, I've been with John so long, I know what he wants done, how he wants it done, and I try to tell these guys how he wants things done, and we try to get it done together. And it's just one of those things where we all talk and we all communicate and we all get along on and off our job. And it's one of those things that we just we don't want to disappoint each other. I think that's one of the biggest things is we all we're all competitive guys. We all want to win, but we also we don't want to be the one to let the other one down.
You guys are graduating, Pistol, a 7-foot, broad-shouldered center, and Nick Washburn, who's now playing overseas. And even though Nick did occasionally get into early foul trouble and have his struggles at times, he was a guy that other teams had to account for when they played Hillsdale College. Obviously, he's gone. Going forward, how does the team set up differently this year without Wash, especially?
Well, you're going to see a couple different lineups. We have a lineup that we can go a little smaller where Kyle Cooper and Tony Nelson can really be our 5s, and we open things up more. We're not going to have someone always just in the low post, and then we still have a low post presence, we think, in Jason Pretzer. He's 6'11". He provided a little bit of a low post presence for us at Toledo. He was able to score in the block a couple times, and so we're still going to have that, but Jason can also step out and shoot the ball a little bit as well. So, Nick's going to be hard to replace, but it's also one of those things where guys are waiting their turns and they're excited to have that the chance and the opportunity to prove what they can do.
You know, Nick had his time, and he played well during that time, but obviously it's another opportunity. And Pretzer's an intriguing guy. He's a great big guy. He likes to step outside and shoot. I haven't seen his work around the painted area as much last year. But when you have a guy, and I was burning Josh Smith before you guys came in, you know, these big forwards or centers who want to step out and take the three ball, how do you coach a kid like that? Because obviously it's something they've worked on. It's something that they feel like they can add to help the team, but you have to have that balance of also putting them on the block, right?
You just hit the word balance.
Right.
The balance is, you know, we talk Jason all the time that, you know, kind of got to work inside out. You know, once you get a couple post moves inside, then you can't live on the inside all the time, and you can't live on the perimeter all the time. He's got to mix it up, and he's done a pretty good job here early on doing that for us, and he's done a good job rebounding the basketball for us in games, and that's one of the things that we've challenged him to do is be a better defensively and rebound for us, and he's done a pretty good job of doing that here early on.
I mean, it's not like Washburn wasn't taking some threes last year, too. I mean, he'd step out and extend the defense a little bit with the three ball. And I don't have his percentage right in front of me, but he did hit a few of them during the course of the year. The Hillsdale College basketball program, their first home game is a week from tonight against Lords. We'll have that ball game for you. It's a 7:30 start right here on WCSR. Coach Tharp, Tim Dzelski is one of my favorite players ever that I've ever got to cover because he's so businesslike. He's not out there pumping his chest or trying to sell jerseys. You know, he's out there doing the little things to help you win basketball games. And then you look up at the stats. The guy averaged 16.7 rebounds a game. He's a solid defensive player. Talk to the listeners about your big man, Tim Dzelski.
Well, and you know he's a throwback. I guess that's the best way to describe him. He wears those huge ankle braces, and you kind of look at him and you don't think that he has has the ability to do anything. But I'll tell you what, he has an incredibly high basketball IQ. He knows how to use his body, and again, most kids in today's world, they don't know how to use their bodies like Tim does. He seals, he posts, and he's just a terrible matchup for people because if you're too big on him, he can take you out and do some work on the perimeter and beat you off the dribble. And if you go too small on him, he'll take you inside. I mean, he's been. He was fantastic on Sunday and Monday. I mean, he was just unbelievable. Really, truthfully, on Sunday against Toledo, he may have been the best player on the court. I really feel that way about him. I can't say that on Monday necessarily, but he is a fierce competitor. He just wants this team to win. And he does it on both ends of the floor. He's got to create. He's going to, our post-up touch has got to go through him a little bit. He rebounds the ball, and he's a great defender. We think at times we're going to have to play him. Sometimes he's going to have to guard a 2-man, a 3-man, a 4-man, and a 5-man this year. But the thing that you love about Tim, it's every day. It's every drill. It's every minute in practice. He understands the urgency of things and the grind of things. Mm-hmm. And those are the type of guys that you just cheer for. And you really you love coaching those type of kids because those are the guys you walk away at the end of the day and going, man, I'm pretty lucky to be in this profession having a young man like this. So really a special kid. And, we really think that he has player of the year type, ability. And, if you're a player of the year in this league, you have a chance to be an All-American. So we're going to go through him quite a bit.
Timmy D would be fine with being point guard for you. He can handle it. He can handle pressure with the basketball. He's just such a versatile player and so much fun to watch. You got some other seniors on this squad. Brandon Pritzel is a lockdown defender when he's feeling right. Anthony Mano can stroke it from downtown. Tony Nelson came in with Timmy D, and he's brought a lot to your program too.
Yeah. Those seniors, they've been great. It's almost since we lost Tyler Gerber and Ganane and those guys, it's kind of been like the next group of kids. And so, Brandon Pritzel is the greatest thing I could say is he's one of the great glue guys. Mm-hmm. He does so many different things for us, both offensively and defensively, that they don't even show up on the box scores at all. He just helps, great help defender, and we ask a lot out of him. And night in and night out. Especially Darius hurt his knee a little bit and not going to be back until December here. And so we're going to expect a lot out of him. And Mano, people don't realize he's torn his ACL 3 times. I don't even, he doesn't even have an ACL on one knee, I don't think, right now. He just goes out there and works hard. And we need him to make shots for us. And you're right with Tony Nelson. Tony Nelson can run the floor, can be an athlete, can make shots, he can create some things off the dribble. Our team, really, it's some of our bigger guys are the ones that are going to have to beat some people off the bounce and to create some havoc that way. And so Tony played really well in Toledo, ran the floor, got us a couple layups. And so again, it's going to be it's kind of who's up next kind of mentality, and so we're proud of that.
So Darius is banged up, Cody's banged up, other issues at the guard position. I think the question is who's going to handle the point. Talk about the backcourt a little bit going into the season.
Well, I think it's going to be really three guys early on in the season. We have Cody is getting himself healthy. He has bad tendonitis in his patella tendon, which he's just caused him a lot of pain. And then Derek Shell's been really, really solid. Then a new face, Garrett Jones, a transfer out of New Hampshire, and played really well at Valparaiso and did some things at Toledo, like got us some buckets, and struggled a little bit at IU. But it's going to take those three guys together, and then we get Zach Miller back here a little later in the year, and I think he's going to help us and have a chance maybe to move Garrett to the off guard as well. So it's going to be the way that we play. As you mentioned, some of our bigs are going to have to handle some pressure, and we share the ball so well right now, and we really like this team. We're really excited about this team.
In the 2 or 3 games that Zach played last year that I saw, before the back issues that crept up, he showed those flashes of the vision that I think you're looking for with the motion style of offense and all the rest of it, anticipating where people are going to be. And I think if he can get back on board, that could be fun for Charger fans to watch.
He has a great feel for the game.
Yeah.
He's, his dad's a high school coach, and he's a tremendous passer. It's really kind of interesting. It took me a couple times watching him. He plays at his pace. He's not the quickest kid in the world, but he understands change of pace, and he's a great passer. He's like I said, he's a great quarterback. He sees the floor. It's like seeing the wide receiver before he's open. He's one of those type of kids, and I think he'll help us get easy baskets.
Talk about Kyle, because Kyle you gave some run to last year, and he was starting to emerge a little bit at a forward position, but he was really scoring the ball in the preseason, and I feel like he's a guy that's going to have to score the ball a little bit this year for the Chargers.
Yeah, Kyle is Kyle has the chance to kind of be the next one. He is a really, really strong, can score inside and outside. At Valparaiso, he was fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And what I think he realized a little bit was, you put a game together where I think he had 22 and 13. People start keying on you a little bit, and now he has to understand the kind of the details and the little things, how to get open and create some things. But he is really a special kid, our best athlete, one of our strongest kids. Can inside outside rebounds like a madman, and we're really excited about what he can do, and we think he has to have a big year for us.
First Charger home game is coming up a week from tonight at Jesse Phillips Arena against Lords. It's a 7:30 tip. We'll have it for you right here on WCSR. Talk about some guys who we don't know about yet that could crack the lineup and help out this year.
Well, we have a couple guys that I think I mentioned Garrett to you guys.
Yeah,
Garrett's got a chance. Garrett's he's in Evanston, Illinois. He was at New Hampshire. Really an offensive, talented kid. He's just trying to figure us out a little bit, our system. We think he can help us, and we have a Rhett Smith from Indiana State that came in to us, and big, strong, powerful kid, and kind of in the mode of Timmy, but not quite there yet.
Right.
But we really like him, and then you're talking about Jason Pretzer, obviously, and there's a young big kid named Nick Archer that is hurt his knee last year, and really is a pretty talented kid. We haven't given him as much time in the exhibition. We had to get some other looks, but we really like him, and we need Lucas Gross to step up his game. Lucas is a 6'4", 6'5" forward that can really guard. I mean, he can really, really guard. He's not quite as comfortable in the offensive end yet, but he's a lockdown defender, and he's a gentleman that can get to the rim. And so we're going to count on him for some minutes as well. And I think that's kind of it, besides some of those guards that we mentioned before.
A couple of last things, and I'll get you guys out of here because I know you've had an incredibly busy week. John Tharp, Luke Lacer, and of course, Pistol. When you come into a new year, obviously graduating Wash, and you've graduated Gerber and Ganane over the years, is it the same system every year? Are you trying to build the team around your system each and every year, or does it change a little bit depending on your players?
I think that our system features the strength of our guys.
Uh-huh.
So each year it's a little bit different, depending on who our better players are and what their abilities are. And so we tailor more to our guys rather than trying to force them to tailor to kind of our system and what we try to do.
Is that true on both sides, offense and defense?
Yeah, I think so. Offensively, right now we're really trying to play through Tim, which was a little different than a few years ago when we played through Gerber and Brad, and the way that we play changes a little bit. We'll probably play a little bit more zone this year just because of some of the rules that the NCAA has tried to incorporate into into the game a little bit, and the way that they're refereeing the game a little bit differently. But you'll still see a fair amount of man-to-man, which is what we are, at the core of our program.
I think we have to zone more this year.
Right.
Hit on the head. It's just the game is changing so much that they want it to be such an offensive game.
Right.
And there's so much dribble drive. And the one thing, we ran some zone against Toledo and IU, and we had some success with that. And it's just, I don't think at this time people work on their zone offense as much as they do with their man-to-man.
Right.
So I think we have a chance to zone. I think you'll see a couple different zones out there throughout the year. Again, the staple has to be our man-to-man defense, and because there's so many principles from man-to-man that you have to use from a zone concept. But we try to put guys in positions that they can be successful in, and we try, like as Luke said, change how we try to do some things. But it still goes back to ball movement and screening and cutting, and we try to get the ball in guys' hands where they can be successful.
Luke looks great. I mean, he looks just as trim and as in shape as he did when he played. Pistol, does he still rain threes over the top of the players during practices?
Lost my range. I'm getting too old.
What about Luke, though?
Luke can still shoot.
He can still drain the triple over those guys.
At times he still thinks that he's the one that's supposed to be getting shots up instead of our guys. We got to pull the reins back on him every once in a while. Every once in a while, he asks who wants to rebound for him.
He looks like he should still be playing. How chaotic has it been with the changeover with the arena? Obviously, it's been a challenge for everybody down there to try to shoehorn that thing in with everything going on. I know Coach Gravel has, I think, practiced in every gym in Hillsdale County. What has it been like for you with that transition?
Yeah, we kind of the same thing. We were all over the place here in the fall, and but we always looked at the big picture and the fact that what it was going to be at the end, and it's not completely finished yet, but what it is right now, and those 3 floors that they put in are just absolutely gorgeous. And
I keep hearing about these floors. What's the difference?
Well, the 2 practice courts that we're calling practice courts, I believe, are the same courts that the Michigan practice facility has.
Okay.
And then our game court has the same game court that 17 NBA teams have.
Wow.
So there's huge improvement over what we used to have.
In what way? For those
well,
that
I
aren't...
think the biggest thing is that old court was so hard.
Okay.
And it was just like you could tell, like even with us after practice, our knees would be a little sore and our backs. And with these new courts, you walk on them and our guys jump and you see the give and the... it's just been tremendous, and I think it's been good on our guys' bodies, and I don't think it wears on them quite as much as that old court did, to be honest with you.
So new stadium, new court facing the different direction for our fans coming to Jesse Phillips Arena Wednesday night in the game against Lords. Last thing for you, Coach Tharp. As you take a broad look across the GLIAC, you've developed a feel for the league now coming into your 7th year. The preseason voting is the preseason voting. We do that every year. As you kind of get the lay of the land, who are some teams that you're going to be competing with all year long at the top?
Well, I think obviously in the South, it starts with Findlay with that history that they've had they just know how to win. They're a talented group of individuals, and we were really quite impressed with Walsh and Malone last year, and coming into the league, they were very talented and. Really liked some of their kids and how they played. And I think we're not sure about Ashland with the loss of some of their guys. That big kid in the middle finally gone, and it's just going to be the South's going to be a dogfight, and then the North, obviously. I think Grand Valley's going to be awfully good, and Northwood's really talented, and Wayne State is just, the way that they're so athletic with their style. And I'm hoping that some of the experience that we have with these exhibition games will help when we see some of the real athletic teams here in the GLIAC. So, in every sport, in that the Hillsdale, every sport in the GLIAC, it's tough.
Yep.
It really is, and. I have tons of, like I said, I've always had tons of respect for the other coaches that we have at the college and what they do, from Chris and to, Otter is one of my dearest friends, and just admire how they go about their business, and, just really proud of the whole athletic department.
The Otter halo was hanging on by a thread today. Yeah. I mean, it was starting to rain a little bit out there. And I haven't talked to Coach about that yet, but it was hanging on by a thread. So you guys get out of Indy. Just a couple of last things. You leave Indiana. You're on this bus ride home back to Hillsdale that night. What time do you get back home?
We arrived I think it was about 2:30 when we got off the bus, and I think I shut it down about 5 o'clock that morning. So about 2:30 we got off the bus.
Did you have practice on Tuesday?
No, we took off on Tuesday, and I was cleaning leaves Tuesday, and I said I can't wait to get back to the office and watch film, even though how ugly that IU game was. But yeah, it was. I tell you what, the Toledo game, we battled. It was a dogfight, and we had every opportunity to win that game, and should have. I think we all feel like we should have. And when we got into that bus, and I sat down with our staff a little bit, I said, you know what? I don't know how much we have left in the tank to go down to Bloomington. I think if we win that game, you have a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And you saw that for about the first about 12 minutes, we did some good things and played pretty well, and they just absolutely wore on us with their length and so forth.
What does John Tharp do on a 4.5, 5-hour bus ride? Take us inside your world. What are you doing on the bus for 5 hours back to Hillsdale?
Stewing when we lose, when we get beat. I just sit there and look at my assistants and ask them what the heck to do. But oh, geez, I just, on the phone, looking at things, stats, reliving the game.
Do you have the film already loaded where you can watch it on the bus ride?
Most times we do, yeah, and so we'll start cranking that out. And then sometimes it's I try to gain my composure and think about what's next. For me, a little bit, it's next day, next opponent. And a lot of times for us, we're thinking about what's going on with our team. If there's somebody we need to pick up, somebody we need to get after, whatever it may be. And so, and sometimes it's just staring at the assistants.
What are the seating arrangements on the bus? Are you in the back? Are the players in the back? I mean, how does it work?
I'm in the first seat.
You're in the first seat, okay.
And the players are in the back. And so,
do you ever talk?
Truthfully, about halfway, I start asking, who's got some chocolate?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because these moms bring these great cookies, and I'm like, all right, I need a cookie.
Will you ever bring a kid up during a bus ride and talk to him during the bus ride?
Yeah, absolutely. And most of the time it depends. Sometimes we talk to him just, hey, keep your head up, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going to be okay. After the Indiana game, Dzelski and I sat there for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and just chatted about a lot of things. He was great at Toledo. And we just talked about a lot of different things, and we ended up laughing quite a bit. And so sometimes it starts off talking about basketball, and we go 12 different ways with it. But it's some of those meetings that you have with your kids, those informal meetings, are some of the best conversations and best minutes that you can have with a kid, because they. Sometimes you just, your heart goes out to them if they don't play well, and sometimes it's hey, you need to be better, and we need to be better, and what do we need to do next? So there's a lot of things that occur on those bus rides.
This is an easy team to root for. Coach Tharp has a bunch of really great kids. If you have a kid, a young boy or girl who loves basketball, one thing that you've always done that my kids always get excited about is the little kids tunnel for your players to start the game. It's the little things like that don't cost you anything, but for the kids that get a chance to do that and to be a part of your little breakdown before the game, Owen talks about that all the time. I mean, it's just a thrill for those guys to do that, and I think that builds that connection between the community and your team, and it starts again. That connection starts again Wednesday in the game against Lords, and I can't wait. Let's do it.
That's right. Let's do it. Let's have a great year.
Let's have a lot of fun. Luke and Pistol and John Tharp, the head coach of the Chargers, good luck, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.